I didn't test it out because you know
Nah.
me and this loud ass boom. I gotta make sure. I gotta make sure I'm totally away from anything that could pick up. This shit could pick up shit from
Man.
1,000 miles away.
Yeah, I hear the orders at the bodega right now, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? The microphone is fantastic, man. But yeah, man,
40 bucks off Amazon.
bro, best $40 ever spent.
Yeah, 40 bucks
Yeah,
off.
man. So shout out to everybody watching. It's your main man, the number one chief rock in Knicks universe, Uncle Freezy. I'm joined by the creator, the host, and everything else old school in Knicks universe. The man we say is too smooth, so smooth he doesn't require a chaser. Anthony D. Hey, what's good? Y'all caught us right in the middle of us talking about the usual
Boxing.
boxing. Yeah, man. But AD, just real quick before we jump into the Legends of the Fall, things. I love Hearns as a fighter. I think he gets romanticized too much, though, bro.
Oh my god. No, first of all, let me say good morning to everybody out there in sports universe, not just Nick universe, and good morning to you, Uncle Freezy. Like the conversation I was saying, Freezy, to pick up where I left off. Floyd is too small for Hearns. Like I said, at best he's 5'8".
At best.
Hearns is 6'2". Hearns is
Okay.
jab. Hearns is his jab, especially at that division. At that division, his jab may be second to, Sugar Ray Robinson. His jab is lethal. His
Okay.
jab is absolutely. We know Hearns, you know, for the devastation of Pepino Cuevas.
Okay. Yeah.
Literally. Right?
Right.
Everything he touched up until Leonard,
What year was that? 80?
when he knocks out Pepino Cuevas, he knocks out Cuevas, I think, in 81,
80,
82.
81.
No, 82.
Is it 82?
Yeah, 81, 82.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it took them a minute. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Leonard and Hearns is in 81. So he knocks out Pepino Cuevas something like in 79, early
70,
80.
70. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because
Yeah,
I
because
thought that fight led up to the Sugar
yeah,
Ray fight. Yeah.
yeah, because as Leonard is losing to Duran and then recapturing somewhere in there, he beats Pepino Cuevas.
Yes.
Then Leonard and his people, they hold off the fight for like a year to get it
Right.
juicy, you know,
Right. Right.
you know. But to the topic, he has too much offense for Floyd, and Floyd as a welterweight had a lot of hand trouble.
Right.
Tommy wouldn't have worried about him hurting him
Okay.
because Floyd has a lot of hand. This is not early for like we mentioned. Floyd destroyed Diego Corrales, the
Yes. Yes.
late Diego Corrales,
Yes.
right?
And Arturo Gotti. Oh.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, bro.
But the Corrales fight was absolutely just
A masterclass of the sweet science.
absolutely, and that's this is before hand trouble.
Right.
Floyd has had hand trouble for a long time,
Okay.
long time. So Tommy wouldn't have had to worry about him. And like I've often said, and this is no knock to Floyd and his style, but those fighters, at some point in time, you're gonna have to fight.
Right. Right. And I get it. I get it. But here is where I think Floyd neutralizes the jab and make Hearns come forward with right hands. Right. The thing about Floyd, you know what I'm saying? People look at Floyd hunch and punch style and think it's all counter. And the hunch and punch style is basically Floyd is here. He shows you a shoulder, but in the hunch and punch, this left hand is the defender, right? The left hand throws punches off targets from here. And then if you get by it, Floyd rolls with the shoulder, right? That's what it is. Like when you jab, this hand is deflecting punches away from the intended target. Like you try to punch at the head, this hand here, and then if it gets right, Floyd is this doing this, right? That's the hunch and punch that Floyd got away with later in his career. If he used that for Hearns, Hearns can only get by the hunch and punch is the thing that frustrates fighters into leading with right hands where Floyd can reverse pivot and go to the body. It's the classic setup. When you watch, I saw Floyd do a video on it. I always knew about the hunch and punch, right? But I knew about this right here and about his footwork, about the pivot and reverse pivot, while Floyd is always in a position to throw a power punch, right? Where Hearns would struggle with the hunch and punch power style is that Floyd is combining the defense of a somewhat of a Pernell Whitaker and hunch and punch at the same time, right? So it's a combination of things learned and a combination of things that are natural. I don't see Hearns throwing jabs all night long. Hearns is not that kind of fighter because remember, Hearns, to his credit, also had dynamite in his hands. He was an excellent power puncher, right? And he knew that. So he wanted to get those power punches off. But if he misses Floyd, bro.
To your point, Freezy, Hearns at that weight is one of the most accurate and devastating punches.
I understand. The sniper. Okay. They call him the Motor City Cobra for a reason.
They call him Motor City Cobra for a reason. The Kronk Gym, the late Emmanuel Stewart, they preached offensive fighting.
Right.
I get you with the defensive and the crunch and the punch, and you're gonna lay back and but Hearns is not a one-handed fighter.
I understand that.
He's dynamite in both hands.
Both hands. I understand that too.
And while he's not a counter puncher.
No.
He's not going to wait for you to mount your offensive attack. He's going to attack.
Right.
So, and he's attacking from a down slope.
Because he was 6'2" with a 6'7" wingspan.
Because he's 6'2" with a 6'7" wingspan.
With lightning quick hands with dynamite in him.
He's going to absolutely
athletic.
Those first early rounds, and I'm not saying it wouldn't be a good fight. Those first early rounds, Floyd is going to go back to his corner really needing to seek the advice of what's going on out there to help him guideline, because it's an offensive onslaught that he's never seen.
Right.
The most Floyd saw, like, really competitive fight, for me at least, and I thought he lost this fight, is the Castillo fight. Castillo won.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. He hurt his, he hurt his shoulder during the fight.
Right.
Okay? He gutted it out. And somewhere between rounds 5 through round 12, Castillo gave him everything he wanted.
Right.
And the look on his face, if you see Floyd's face somewhere in rounds 9 through 12, he had a look of, I don't want to say bewilderment, but he had a look, them in the corner.
Right.
They were concerned.
Right.
Okay.
And the look on his face when he heard the scorecards was the absolute face of a man that knew he lost. Wow. That was given it
was one of those. Look, I've seen Ali, for people will say, some people will say Ali never beat Norton in none of those fights.
Right. Me too. I agree.
I beg to differ. Right.
No.
They were so close, They were so close.
Man, AD, come on, bro. Don't give me that. Don't give me that pitter pat. You hear the ref, you hear the ring judge hit the thing 10 seconds, and then Ali just pitter patter and went around. Come on, bro.
Nah, here's the kicker. And this is what people don't realize, and they don't realize it because they've never really listened to Ken Norton. Right? Ken Norton's story.
That's because he couldn't talk.
No, hold on. And a lot of people, and this is rest in peace to the great Ken Norton,
right?
World heavyweight champion.
Had a son play in the NFL.
Had a son played in the NFL. Ken Norton was about to be homeless. Okay? His wife left him. He decided to take his son. Ken Norton was trying to go back home to his father, and Ken Norton's father said to him, "Son, if I allow you to come back home now, you'll always be coming back to me." Right? I'm not gonna let you do that. He's a sparring partner. You know sparring. Maybe you're getting $100 a day. Maybe. Right?
Maybe. That's if your man show up. Because if he don't show up, you don't get paid.
Because he don't show up, you don't get paid. Right? And if you show up the main attraction in sparring, you're gonna get fired.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So pretty much you're there for a purpose, right?
To get beat up.
Or whatever they want you to work on with that fighter to prepare him for the next fight. That's what you're there. That's what you're there to add, right? You may have to be in the back washing dishes, cutting cuticles. That's the life of a sparring partner.
Yeah. Right? And sometimes they bring you in to fight somebody else's style.
That's a documentary I've always wanted to do. That's another story, but the life of a sparring partner.
Bro, I could talk, man. Look.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't know, like, the things that Larry Holmes talked about when he used to be up with Ali in Big Bear Camp.
Yeah.
He got to be, he picking up the kids. He the chauffeur. You know what I'm saying? He getting beat up at the same time. Yeah. But my point was with Norton, Ali at the time, I don't need to talk about who Ali is at the time.
Right.
Their people was like,
very overrated as a boxer.
I'm not even gonna argue with you because you're looking to pull another conversation out of me, and I'm not gonna do that to you.
No, because we gotta talk about legends.
I don't got my preacher shit on to absolutely sanctify you with holy water this morning.
Oh, come
you
on,
understand?
Bro.
I don't got it on this morning, but I could reach for it. But anyway.
Salute Ron, please. Salute Ron.
Norton, Ali and his people give Norton a lifeline, and they let Ali fight Norton. Nobody knew about Norton. Norton, long story, breaks Ali's jaw, wins. Yeah. Norton is now able, because of that check, right? And Norton talked about this. Because of that check, he was able to provide for his son, move on, and you understand what I'm saying? And now become a contender, all because of that fight. So whatever Ali might have gotten in a decision is well earned, because you know why? He the king in the ring. It's like fighting Floyd. See what I'm saying? Right. That's your lotto ticket.
Yep.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
That's your lotto ticket to fight Floyd. It was your lotto ticket to fight Ali. It was your lotto ticket to fight Ray Leonard. It was your lotto ticket to fight De La Hoya. Those were the biggest gates in the history of the game post 1950 something.
Yeah. Yeah. When you knew boxing was fixed. You know what I'm saying? My thing was anything 40s, 50s, 60s, boxing is fixed, bro.
Oh my God, that's harsh.
Boxing is rigged.
No,
boxing is Sonny Liston, who Sonny Liston, a great champion, right? I love this. I love Sonny Liston's backstory more than I love Ken Norton and Ernie Shavers, right? My thing is with Sonny Liston, though, some of them dudes, come on, bro, they were no challenge.
Well,
they were no challenge for.
You're gonna find that on anybody's record.
No.
That's the name of the game. You can't always put your fighter in with the killers as he is
Looking to
matriculating.
ascend and make money. I understand that. You don't risk the bread over putting
No,
the, you know what I'm saying?
you don't.
But like Kerry Cox said, Sonny Liston was owned by the mob. So when I see the Patterson fight, when I see that shot that Patterson get hit with, I'm like, the Energizer Bunny would have beat Floyd Patterson that night because the mob had money on Patterson to take it.
Patterson. Yeah, okay, but here's the thing: Patterson had a glass jaw. 2-time heavyweight champion Floyd Patterson, and if you watched him against,
He was light, and he was a light. He was not.
And he was a light heavyweight champion.
Yeah. I mean, not light heavyweight.
Right.
He was not a big heavyweight.
Right. He's not a big heavyweight. He might have been 185 pounds at his best.
Yes.
At his best. But if you watched him against Ingemar Johansson, other people knocked him down. It was just the fact that he was able to get up.
But that was an era. But that was an era of vulnerability. You won. That's what made champions great. The vulnerability. You didn't know if they would just go in there and beat people. You know what I'm saying? You knew that they were good, but every time they fought, you were like, "There's a chance that this dude is gonna get knocked down."
That's why when you say the game was rigged, you're working against your argument. See? You see how you circled back and worked against your own argument?
I understand.
You see what I'm saying? You have, Jake LaMotta and Sugar Ray Robinson fight 3 times in like a 2-month span.
Yeah.
In order for you to get Pacquiao against Mayweather, you had to move heaven and earth.
Yes.
You had to scorch the earth. They both had to get old.
Yeah.
Everything had to happen. And finally, we got a watered down version of a fight that should have happened 7 years.
That should have happened. Yeah. But the thing is we all know I have a feeling Pacquiao was juicing. Right. I just have that feeling because the older you get, you don't get faster and stronger the older you get. Right. And Pacquiao, not only did he get faster and stronger over time, his endurance was incredible, right? So you don't gain all these. The endurance part, I could see that through training, you can gain more endurance, right? Push yourself to the limit, heart, right? But you don't get more powerful. Because I saw Mike at age 35 hit a tomato can. I forget it's the guy he came in. He wasn't even in shape. I forget what the guy's name is.
He fought a few tomato cans at the
Botha,
end.
Francois Botha, is that his name?
Francois. He tried to break his arm in the ring or something like that. Was it him? Right. Something. Yeah, one of them. One of them was either Botha or the dude who beat up Riddick Bowe.
Him.
Because Tyson fought him too.
But Francois Botha, Mike hit him with a shot, and Botha dropped his guard, right? And Botha, seeing Mike's shoulder twitch, knew the punch was coming, right? Mike loaded up and hit this dude with a right hand, bro. I swear, would have knocked down a building, and Botha ate it. And I'm like, yo, okay. If that was 25-year-old Mike would have hit him with 4 shots, right? Instead of that one, right? But Botha ate that shot. Now, he was wobbly, and Mike had to hit him with another shot before he knocked him down. But, bro, in Mike Prime, that man would have... Come on, bro. Yeah, come on, bro. I just don't see the thing with Pacquiao, man. I'm over the Pacquiao thing. I'm as a matter of fact, I was so over it. I was ready to move on to the new guys, bro. I didn't want to even see them guys. But AD, what about this Legends of the Fall thing? What are we talking about?
with I'm sorry there. As I'm watching and paying attention to baseball and the playoffs, being a long-standing New York Yankee fan and so forth, it got me to thinking.
Oh God.
Absolutely. Pay respect to the Yankees. It got me to thinking about the times, not just the Yankees though, because I was watching this morning 30 for 30 documentary on the Mets in 86. And although I'm a Yankee fan, I respected, and still respect those 86 Mets teams because, those teams were put together, without analytics.
Right.
With knowledge and
Frank Cashin. Shout out to Frank Cashin.
Absolutely. The eye test, Frank buildeth and destroyeth.
Right. Right.
He did it both.
Both.
But that's the shit when it's your house. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Right. If you do all the work in your house, if the shit ain't gonna work, it's gonna work. It's not gonna work because I built it.
Right.
Right. But he did destroy it. But to the theme, I got to thinking about those teams and Yankee teams, and and although the Knicks are not, for the fall, as far as when they got to prove themselves, the point is stars or people who are ready to be on the big stage.
Big stage.
And do we presently have that within the tri-state, within the New York area and so forth? And what happened to that? What happened to those legends? Like my earliest remember of, using the Yankees is 1976, Chris Chambliss hits the home run.
Right.
Howard Cosell's going crazy.
Yes.
The Yankees are going to the World Series. I'm like,
Chris Chambliss. Yeah. Wow, I heard that name.
First baseman Chris Chambliss.
I remember Chris Chambliss. Yeah.
Okay.
Used to have his baseball cards.
Okay. Talking to someone who collected some 3,000 baseball cards in his life, maybe even more.
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right. So we expected a certain level of people to be here, a certain level of team building that this area was known for. And I looked around, I'm like, I'm looking at Aaron Judge and Yankee fans going gaga because he hit 62.
Right.
But every time I look at him against the Astros,
Yep. Aaron Judge is not a star, bro.
Stanton
is not a star.
These guys are regular season warriors.
Right.
And it's not just him, because I'm not going to single those two out and pick on them, but it's other people that are in the area that you really have to look at them and say, are you cut from that tree line?
Right.
Do you have the intensity of a Wally Backman?
No.
Do you know the game of a Keith Hernandez?
No.
Of a Don Mattingly?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These guys that played in this particular area that, the media showed them no favors. Okay. The lights are hella bright in this area.
Yep.
And they came out and performed. Who here now can we really say?
Let me add some seasoning. Let me jump in here because I understand where you're going. So it's not even that. It's not even performing in the postseason. It's performing when you have expectations to perform in the postseason. Aaron Judge, right? You're asking if the Knicks have that guy? Hey, Kerry Cox. Yeah, I remember Ernie Shavers. Ernie Shavers, pound for pound, may have been the most powerful boxer of all time, pound for pound. Because I think he was bigger than George. Did he weigh more than George Foreman?
He's bigger, but here's the thing with Ernie, not to get sidetracked off your point. In order to get maximum force off your punches, as you know, as a boxer, you have to be technically sound.
Right.
See, consistently technically sound.
Right.
If you watch Ernie, especially when Ernie gets tired, it's a lot of
Yes. A lot of just laying, a lot of just laying heavy hands, because he was a heavy hand dude. He was a lot of just coming over the top, just putting heavy
I
hands on you.
watched him against an old Ali, and when Ali said that he hit him so hard, like he hit Ali, and Ali literally like he's in a flashback.
Right.
Do I fall? What do I do?
Right.
And he's like 8 or 10 years younger than Ali, and he couldn't put him away.
Right.
Because like I said, it was a lot of inconsistent, inefficient, use of his power.
Right. It's the reason why Mike Tyson is the greatest power puncher of all time. It's the reason, because there were a lot of people with comparable power.
No.
Yeah. I mean, who's more powerful, Wilder?
No, he's not.
Because Wilder throws 10 power punches, he can't throw another punch for 10 rounds.
Wilder's not in that conversation. You see, and as I've mentioned before, because for some particular reason we have to always get back to boxing, because we love boxing.
For the love of the game, man. For the love of the game, man.
Shout out to for the love of the game. Hard Will, Worldwide L. Shout out to everyone in the chat and all the podcasters and things of that nature. But he's not the greatest power puncher, because you can easily get him off of his game and tie him up.
Who, Mike?
In the best of him.
Right.
That's why I've always said the best of him doesn't beat the best of Ali and a good boxer, because you could get him off his game.
Whose hands are faster, Ali or Mike Tyson?
Mike may be faster. Mike may
be
faster.
With hands.
Mike may be faster, but you would give it to Ali, because in the best of him is fast and accurate.
Right.
You see, the best of him is 8 to 10 punches landing.
Right.
Tyson don't need 8 to 10. The best of Tyson is 2 to 3.
Right.
But the funniest thing, well, it's not funny, but as he transitioned from the people who brought him a certain distance and goes to a new, management. And here's the thing with Mike, and especially with his new document, well, not a documentary, but a new drama series that's on, that, we take lightly with Mike. As Mike, when you're 18, 19 years old and you got $50 fucking million.
Right.
And you got
in 1986.
In 1986.
Yeah.
And you're not the most literate person in the world.
Right.
You understand? And you've never had this, and you come from the guts of Brownsville, Brooklyn.
Right.
Shout out to Brownsville. You only know about seeing people robbed and killing and stealing and all of that.
Extorted. Yeah, it's Brownsville, bro.
How do you think that this person is going to have a long reign? You're really not going to have a long reign, because you get all of that at that age. What else is there to work for?
Right. And then you have so many people you have to pull up out of poverty at the same time.
And if you don't have the right people around you to this is always the problem with the hangers on. And I'm going to say this for those of you, who know about hangers on, and those of you who've been hangers on in your life.
Yeah.
Your goal as the hanger on is to keep the train on the track.
Yep.
You see? Lessons for you who let Mike Vick go to jail for dogfighting.
AD, I remember my cousin forgot my mouthpiece one time.
Okay.
Yeah, bro, you got one job, bro. The job is to make sure in this bag are official hand wraps, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got to have the official hand wraps, right? You can't just go to the example. You can't go to Dick's Sporting Goods and get some hand wraps, and then the convening body looks at your hand wraps and is like, nah, you can't use those. And then you're like, well, I ain't got no other ones. Well, if you fight with them, you can only fight for half the money.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so now it's like a mouthpiece. Now you got to go to the person that you're fighting against to see if they got a mouthpiece. Like, bro, yo, my cousin left my mouthpiece home, and you got an extra mouthpiece. You're like, ew, you want to use a mouthpiece that I used before? No. Do you have a new mouthpiece still in the pack? Well, I'll give it to you, but I'll sell it to you for $500. Basically, if we fighting for $1,000, the only way I'm giving you this mouthpiece is if you win, you get 500. We split in 50-50 instead of winner take all.
But
right?
His job is to make sure
the mouthpiece is in the bag.
You have the mouthpiece, and when you get punched in the face,
yes,
you don't lose your teeth.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the night, that's his job. You're the hanger on.
AD, one time my female cousin forgot my boxing shorts. She was like, yo, shout out to my cousin. I ain't gonna say her name because I always bring this up and she always get mad. But I had bought some shorts, right? You remember East Bay, the magazine where you go order stuff? You can call the company. And so I get some shorts out of there. She's like, ew, you fought in them last week. You ain't wash them? I was like, yeah, I forgot. I left them in the trunk. She's like, ew, let me wash them. She washed them, leave them outside on a clothesline, leave them outside. They soaking wet. She's like, I couldn't bring them because they wet. I'm like, but you got them. You had them like all week. She's like, yeah, I know it rained. I forgot they was like, blah, blah. I had to go to a box store and buy some double X shorts to pull up over my groin guard, bro, on the day of the fight. The hangers on, bro. These are the people that you was like paying to yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You know who you were, Freezy, in the annals of the fight history? As I think about it, you remember Rocky 1?
Yeah, I remember
in the beginning when he fights Spider Rico.
Yes.
You Spider Rico.
Yeah, I know.
Yo, the dude came in there after the fight, the promoter dude or whatever, and he had like $100. And he was like, towel, $5, cornerman, $10. Hey, your prize is $35.
Yes.
Dude.
Yes. And you know what Spider Rico did? Went and bought a drink.
So
it's like that money wasn't even you took that butt cutting for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Basically.
Dude.
But that's what I'm saying about the
all the fighters and
club fighters.
Shout out to all the club fighters. And I always speak on this when it comes to boxers. Boxers have the original entourage. Right? There's something about, the pugilist sport that the winner of the event, he gains such an attraction, there's such magnetism to him that he's the man, because he's the man. Because why? Knocking him out.
Yeah.
Right? Dead.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's that dude. And as time has gone on, the boxer the entourage becomes bigger. There's a guy for this, a woman for this, a person for this, And they talked about Ali's entourage up in Big Bear.
Right.
You're talking about at least 200 people.
Right.
200 people, and everyone has a specific job.
Everybody got a job, bro. Everybody got a job.
Yep. When they talked about Sugar Ray Robinson, when he used to take those European tours, in the ocean lining cruise of the day or whatever, he got like 150 people with him.
Yep. Everybody getting paid. Everybody got a job.
Everybody's getting paid. Everybody got a job.
Yep.
The sad story is, at the end, nobody knows the fighter anymore.
Right.
Iran Barkley was in a homeless shelter. Rocky Lockridge the great Rocky Rogers, the great Iron Barkley. For those who don't know Iron Barkley is, Iron the Blade Barkley from the Bronx.
Yep.
Laid out Tommy Hearns. Okay. These fighters, more times than not, when you do the history, and I've done the history in so many of these fighters, when you, at some point in time, when the money is gone, that woman be gone, that house be gone.
Yep.
And the IR, and all of a sudden you got a new friend. The I, the R, the S.
Yep. Yep.
And you can't pay them.
Bro. Yep.
You see? So never begrudge. I never, for one particular sports athlete that I never begrudge is the fighter. Because at the very end of the day, how he got his money, getting punched in the face.
And just real quick, before we get back to your point about the stars of the fall, legends of the fall, the thing about boxing that people don't understand is how you learn how to be a great fighter is by getting beat up in the early stages, right? Beat up in the early stages, like you always class up. Like if you're just doing it for the love, then you class even, you class neutral. Like 7-year-olds fighting 7-year-olds, you know what I'm saying? You just class neutral, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to get good, like for me, my whole thing had always not been reflexes, because back then at my weight, I had excellent like supernatural like reflexes, right? Everything else was subpar, right? So I was hard to hit, but I could knock you out, right? Wasn't necessarily fast off the hands, wasn't necessarily the best athlete, like, you know what I'm saying, as far as footwork and all that stuff. But my reflexes were good. So what I used to do is get in with power fighters so that I could naturally learn how to get them out of the ring. And what they used to do, like, because I was fighting at 200, but I walked around at 193. So before the fight, I had to drink so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I was just drinking gallons and gallons of water. So at weigh-in, I could get, because all I had to be was 200 on the dot. I didn't have to be 230. I just had to be 200 at the dot at weigh-in.
Now, were these fights in the military? Can you describe that to the audience? Military fights.
These was in the military. These are like the military fights.
What's the difference between military fights and like amateur and golden gloves?
All right, so for one, it's all the same at a base level. Like you got to get your boxing license. You got to have a doctor. Doctor got to approve you. You got to have a clean bill of health, right? You have to have insurance, right? You have to have all these things, right? You have to have equipment and all these things, right? So when I was boxing in the military, I had all these things. I was taught that. They were like, "Yo, you want to box for real?" At first, I was like, "Nah, man, I'm just," because I had got in trouble because I got into a barroom fight with somebody. And I wasn't even fighting. It was two dudes fighting, and I broke it up. All three of us go to jail. My commanding officer come to me. He's like, "Yo, what'd you do?" I was like, "Yo, look at my hands, man. I ain't did nothing. I ain't punched nobody or nothing. I was trying to break these dudes up." You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Well, the police said, y'all were all in this thing." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's not true." And you could talk to the other two people. He was like, "Yo, I tell you what, tough guy. The next 2 weeks, you're going to go in the gym, boxing gym, and get your face beat in since you're so tough." I was like, "Yo, I ain't even say I was tough."
Oh, so is that your start, your entry into military boxing?
Yes, this is the entry into it. Yeah, so I was going to get to. So, but what it is I had already knew that I was nice off the hands. Like I was a good street fighter.
Okay.
Like say, man, you walking down the street and three dudes walk up on us. And I'll be like, "AD, wait, right now. AD, stand back here." And dudes come on, and I just, you know what I'm saying, I can hit dudes, right? Just, you know what I'm saying? I was a good street fighter.
So
right?
I would be like your manager. I would collect the money.
Yes.
I would do the odds.
Yes.
Collect the money.
Yes.
And at
and
the
them three
end,
dudes
and
and
at the
talk that
end,
noise.
okay. And at the
And,
end, we'd step over the three dudes, and I'd break you off.
right,
Okay,
right,
gotcha.
right. That basically
Okay.
because I was a dumb street fighter, basically. So yeah, so I was nice off the hands on the street, right?
Okay.
And so what I found out, because I rarely got hit in the street, because what it is tough guys on the street don't know how to fight. Everybody throw haymakers.
Okay.
On the streets, I wasn't throwing haymakers. On the streets, I was just like sizing dudes up, just like nice off the hands, just hitting dudes. I was like jabbing and hooking dudes on the street, right? Like, you know how dudes get mad, they like, ah, and I'll see them coming. I reverse pivot out of there, bam, hook dudes, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff. I knew how to fight on the street, right?
But street fighting is different than
Boxing,
than the art of the sweet science. So
right?
take us through, like, how did you?
That's what I'm getting to. That's what I was gonna get to.
Okay, how did you get your discipline, or what made you decide to be disciplined?
That's the point. That's the thing I was gonna get to. So I was a good street fighter, right? So I go into the gym. My commanding officer make me go to the field house, and I go to the field house, and I do. They cardio you to death first, right? And then I finally get in the ring. You know what I'm saying? I go through all the boxing training, doing all the neck exercises, punching the bag, all the ab exercises, all the curls, all the everything, right? So I get in the ring. I'm like, I finally get to fight. And I remember the dude that I'm sparring against. The first thing he does is he puts his hand behind his back because he knows that I'm new, but I don't know that I'm new. Okay. I'm thinking I'm gonna go in here, knock the head off, and I'm gonna go. Then we're gonna go downtown and drink some beer. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking, right? So the dude, he gets in, he puts his hands behind his back, and he does all these. He's doing all these things. He like the Matrix. I'm like, damn, I can't hit them. I can't even hit him. AD, he only had 50 amateur fights. He wasn't even a pro yet.
Right.
He was so how the ranks go, it starts
50 fights. That's still 50 fights. That's a lot of fights.
But he was an amateur.
Right.
And I was a novice. The ranks go novice,
right,
amateur, professional.
Right.
Right. And so this is the thing I was going to tell you. The step up in class from novice to amateur is like putting a kindergartner in 12th grade. Okay. Right. Okay. So I get in and I'm street fighting him. You know what I'm saying? I'm fighting all wrong. Right. I'm fighting all wrong. I got my power hand up front. I got my off hand back here. I'm trying to throw hooks and all this thing. And he laughing. And he takes his glove and takes his mouthpiece out and throws it in the corner. Right? He takes his AD. Think about how disrespectful. He takes his mouthpiece out and throws it in the corner while I'm punching.
Because he's not
in fear of getting hit.
Not in fear of getting hit.
Or in fear of getting hit with something powerful. Right? So then he like, yo, I'm gonna fight you with one hand behind my back. So he starts jabbing me to death. All the fundamental stuff. Sink his hips, jab, slide, all these things, just jabbing at different angles, like faking jab up top, jabbing me to the body 3 times, getting back, all this with one hand behind all this different thing. Okay. So I get frustrated with him and I back up to the corner. And I'm like, okay, this dude can beat me if he wants to. This is me thinking the game. So instead of looking at his hands, I start looking at his feet. So I've learned something. So I start looking at his feet. Right. I'm coming in, I got my head down, I'm just looking at his feet, right? And I can feel his jabs and stuff coming. I'm wiping his jabs away. Like this, just deflecting the jabs. And he's like, oh, you learned something. And so he was like, you know what you need to learn? Watch my shoulders. This is him talking me through the thing. He's like, watch my shoulders. Like when this left shoulder go back, the right hand is coming. I'm trying to turn. I ain't never heard that before. Okay. So I watched the flinch in his shoulder. So that automatically made me think, because it's a pendulum up here. It's a pendulum. in order for this to come forward, this has to go back. So it's in order, it's like a rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, he teaches me in this sparring section, which seems like it took forever, but it was only 3 1-minute rounds. And so in those 3 1-minute rounds, the dude took me from being a street fighter to a learning boxer. Like he was like, yo, you got to learn this stuff. It's not just in here about throwing punches. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so my coach comes in. He's not my coach at the time. Okay. Right. But he's in the military also. And he's like, man, I'm getting tired of y'all going downtown, getting drunk, fighting over these gals. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, hey, coach, listen, man. Coach, listen, I want to box. He's like, you ain't even got no talent. And I was like, but I'll learn. And so he said, he gives me no lie. You remember the old film machine where you take the film and you put it
right,
like the reel to reel?
Right, the reel to reel.
So he gives me like these 3 cans of boxing, right? Okay. So it's Ali, right? Okay. It's Ali. It's Mike Tyson, right? Okay. And this is a dude named Smoking Joe Frazier, right? Right. So I take these reel to reels and the reel to reel machine, which is heavy. It's like 40 pounds. I take this back to my room. I watch all 3 of them things all night long, bro. I cannot believe what I'm watching. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because and so here's the thing. I thought they landed punches based off of flat out physical ability. No. But they didn't. They were landing punches based on setup. What the other boxer saw. You know what I'm saying? Like what Ali did before he counterpunched you was showed you a wide open target. Is that all you got, sucker? Like he'll do like this, and you'll see all of this wide open, and then he'll get back real quick, and then you'll be throwing your punch. Ali ducks and counterpunches, and all of a sudden Ali is on the offense. Like Mike, right. Like how Mike would do. Mike would show you his head, and before you can react, he's already back hidden, ready to throw. And so people call it the peekaboo style. Like if you're a boxer, right. You see all of this unguarded, right? So you like, you know what I'm saying? Instincts is telling you, get your punches off. But by that time, Mike is already here bobbing and weaving under your punches.
I was never a fan of that, though. To be honest with you, the whole peekaboo with, and I respect, you know, his trainer, the late great Customato and so forth. Right. You know, because he's had world champions, you know. Yeah.
Floyd Patterson.
Floyd Patterson, light heavyweight. It also had a light heavyweight champion back in the days as well. His name is skipping me at the moment, but it'll come to me. You know, he trained a lot of fighters, but there was something about that particular style. I'm like, you don't evade the jab well with that. Right. You know, you're more explosive. Right. You know, because you're kind of propelling, you know, when you explode. But you know what? But in that peekaboo style, you know what happens? Mike, you rarely think about how often you saw Mike get hit with a devastating body shot. Because he was, you know, he's more compact. The target is too small. His target is but that wasn't the worst of Mike. Is they didn't see this particular flaw early in his reign, especially for bigger fighters, that you could manhandle him for a head, because remember, he's not a big heavyweight. No, he's not big. He's a small heavyweight. So a short heavyweight. He's a short heavyweight with short arms. Right. So generally, I don't want to say generally a big good fighter, because that's, you know, that's not true. Because because you big means you good. Right. But in the fights that he had, shout out to Jerry Cooney. Okay. Wow. That was a shot at Jerry Cooney. Stop that. Jerry Cooney was, I mean, you know what? Jerry Cooney never cheated the game.
No, he never cheated the game, and he is in excellent physical shape right now.
Yeah,
You know how the old
yeah,
school fighters right now are
right,
degenerative.
right.
Yeah, he
And
is excellent right now.
and he came from somewhere from the New York area. I think Huntington, right? Huntington, Long Island, and
Right,
he never wanted to fight. His father, Irishman, as we get named Irishman Jerry Cooney.
right,
His father, stared him in there because, and he said this, the hardest punch he ever got was from his father.
right,
How kids are, especially back then. Your parent and so forth, they gave you what you were gonna do in life.
right.
You know what I'm saying? His father was like, "Yo, you're gonna be a boxer." So shout out to Irishman Jerry Cooney.
The hardest punch I ever got was always the ones I never saw.
Mm.
The ones I never saw coming are always felt like to me were the hardest ones. Right. But just to your point, like how do you go from being a street fighter to a boxer? Something in your mind has to click. Like when you watch Floyd early, like 12-year-old Floyd, his hands were so fast that you knew he had the talent to do it. But him being a sponge to pugilism is what made Floyd great. Not that Roger was great. Roger was good. Roger, you know what I'm saying? Roger was okay. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of like what takes you from being a street fighter like Mike Tyson or a street fighter like myself.
Well,
right? And I'm not Mike, and I'm not Mike, by the way. I'm not Mike, so I'm not just saying that. So.
Absolutely. But you have something in common with him, which is
the route,
stepping in the squared circle.
Right, the route, like our route to boxing is similar. Both of us got in trouble. And like I wasn't in trouble. Like with me, I wasn't a troublemaker. I was trying to do the right thing. You know how you be in the wrong place at the right time? That's what happened to me. I was in the wrong place at the right time. You know what I'm saying? And so, what I did was I modeled my game after a great boxer who I patterned myself after, but I didn't have his skills. I patterned myself after a boxer named Marvin Hagler at 200 pounds. Right?
Great Marvin.
Right. Switching styles, being able to throw power punches from both sides, being able to throw combinations, hooks and uppercuts. I could throw uppercuts and hooks off of each other. You know what I'm saying? Like I could legit throw an uppercut with one hand and double hook to the body with the other hand, right? Just off of not agility, but learning footwork by doing the same thing all the time in the gym, doing it. And so my coach would be like, where will you ever use that combination? And I told him that these guys are so much bigger than me. They don't, when they fight other guys, they expect the uppercut. It's uppercut / haymaker is what they expect. So if the uppercut comes and misses, they don't expect hooks to the other side of their body. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so I could pull that off because my jab wasn't the fastest. But the thing like Hagler probably wasn't the fastest. Even though he had for his day, he had elite skills. But if you ask who had faster hands, Hagler or Sugar Ray, we'd say Sugar Ray, right? If we ask who had a better jab, Hagler or Hearns, we'd say Hearns, right? But when you talk about chin and determination, Hagler.
Chin, determination, and his boxing skills is not as highly thought of,
polished, because he wasn't polished.
Not polished. It's not as highly thought of as he was.
Right.
Like,
right.
He's a power puncher, yes,
right.
And he got his accolades from things like war across his the hats that he wore and things of that nature.
Yeah, all night
or whatever. But Marvin Hagler was a good boxer,
especially
early.
Great,
It
great
took him.
boxer, bro.
It took him a minute. Marvin Hagler, from Jersey, right?
Yep. Yep.
From Jersey, you know, gets to Brockton, Massachusetts, and so from the those 60s and things of that nature. Marvin Hagler never got anything from anybody. It just, we see the narrative as someone who's just, he knocks people out, but we forget the early parts of his career. He was like a son of Muhammad Ali. People don't even know that.
Right.
I've seen video footage of him, him being a kid of the 70s, him rhyming, and trying to be like Ali and things of that nature. He was a good boxer with both hands.
Both hands.
It's when he started perfecting, his southpaw style, and especially that jump hook that he had. Like when he got you off and you were kind of like backpedaling up a little bit, and then you kind of like turning, and he kind of like did this. This kind of like launch.
That launch hook. Yeah,
this
that's what
launch hook that kind of it narrowed the gap between you and him by at least a foot.
Yeah.
He would be on you and nights out.
Yeah. You know who you know who else used that lunge hook? Razor Ruddock. You remember him? You remember Razor Ruddock?
Right, absolutely. Razor was just left-handed dependent. With a weak chin. With a weak chin. And I don't want to say weak. As far as the best out of Razor was his 2 fights with Tyson.
Yep.
The second fight, somebody told him, somewhere in his training that he needed to add 20, 25 pounds of muscle. And in adding that muscle, he lost his flexibility.
He lost that lunge punch. Yes.
He lost because he used to call that left hand, he had a name for it, like the dynamic or something, because I saw him hit Michael Dokes with it.
Yeah.
And this was a washed up Michael Dokes, don't get me wrong. But it was still.
So who was this, about 90? This is about 90?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And because he used to back up, he had like a kind of like how a basketball person, does the step back.
Yeah.
He would do the step back, drop his angle, and he called it the smash. He hit Michael Dokes with that in Madison Square Garden around 91, 92, something like that. And Michael Dokes is still laying on the ropes.
Still, yeah.
But again, with Razor, he gained that weight, and basically all he did in the second fight with Tyson was walk him around the ring.
Yep. Right. I liken him to Anthony Joshua.
Yes.
Right. That's who I liken him to, right? Anthony Joshua to me is one of those dudes. So Anthony Joshua is an athlete that boxes, right?
Except Anthony Joshua would have never done well with Mike Tyson.
No!
Razor Ruddock can at least hang his hat and say, well, out of all these guys that Mike Tyson fought, I'm one of the guys, especially during his prime, where I give a good account of myself.
Bro, what I'm saying to you is, okay, like there are different types of boxers, right? So there are your Pernell Whitakers, right? Who are born to do this, but they don't have all the equipment to be thought of as the great in their overall. Because for his day, Pernell Whitaker probably, for his day, the best boxer I saw during that time, right? For his time.
And that's what a lot of good fighters.
Right. And so was he as gifted as Meldrick Taylor?
Not hand speed wise.
Yeah.
But he was a better tactician.
That's what I'm saying. My thing is
yeah,
Pernell Whitaker sets you up with shoulders and feet. He confused you with his body movements, right? It's like fighting a cobra Like, you know what I'm saying? The Cobra's doing all this stuff and you're swinging and missing and swinging and missing. And then you get hit. And then you're like, oh, geez, that didn't even hurt me, but I'm still, you know what I'm saying?
And shout out to Meldrick. Funny you
Yeah.
say that, because I last week when we was, I think I mentioned it, that we were playing, poker and so forth. You play poker, Freezy?
No.
Okay, I'm a poker head. So shout out to my poker clan last week, and I put on the fight with Meldrick and Chavez.
Oh.
And we were arguing about Richard Steele stopping the fight.
No, he had to stop that fight, bro. He waited too long.
Freezy, as I'm telling my man, shout out to my man Steve. You know what I'm saying? That we go back like car seats and Cadillacs. You know what I mean? And he's arguing that Steele, needed to do something other than what a referee is supposed to do.
Nah.
Which is to protect the fighter.
You got to protect the fight. Yeah.
And when you play that back, and like I said, we just watched it a week ago. When Meldrick gets, as the fight is going on, Meldrick is winning early. Ebbs and flows. Meldrick is winning early, but as the fight is going on, you see Meldrick's face is contorting in some really
strange,
peculiar looking ways. Right. Because by the end of the fight, for someone who's winning.
Yes.
Right? Because he drank, like they said, like a quart of blood, that he drank quart of his own blood.
Yeah.
Because he had like a deep gash in his lip.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Chavez drops the right hand.
Yep.
Meldrick, to his credit, gets up. There's less than 15 seconds. There's like 12 seconds to go in the fight.
Yeah. But Richard Steele don't know that. Richard
Steele does not know that.
Right.
Richard Steele is focused on the fighter.
Right.
When he gets up from the opposite side and you see his eyes turn to the right, Lou Duva, that absolute, Don King over the years has gotten a lot of, flack for being who he was in boxing or whatever, but the Duvas, okay? The Duvas never got their up and comings and just doing how many fighters that they helped to ruin as well.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Yeah, I know about the fight game. Okay? He jumps up on the side on the ring post from where he's at, distracts his fighter. So when Steele is giving him the 8 count, right? He's not looking at him.
He's not coherent to the referee. Right.
And Steele asked him twice, and he doesn't answer on time. Right. And Steele then calls it off and then starts to take the mouthpiece out of his mouth. And that's when Duva and them starts to go crazy and whatever. And he lied. Here's the thing about that fight that hurts me to this day. You can watch, HBO has a special called, and it's like 20 years old now. It's called Legendary Nights.
Right.
As far as their great fights over a 25-year period.
Right.
That's one of the fights, right? In the last couple of rounds, HBO played their field mics. So the mics around the ring.
Around the ring, yeah. Okay?
Yeah. Chavez punches sound like
car crashes, bro. Yes.
Their punches. Yes. If we're not paying attention to them because they're body shots, lungs, heart, neck, trachea, all these shots that, because we're not seeing them in the face, we don't realize kidney, right? Fighters wear kidney pads. To do what?
Yeah,
to protect the kidneys.
That's why they have their groin guard up so high. All of this is to protect all of that stuff.
That's why they piss blood after the fight.
Right.
Right? He had the nerve to say, going into the final round, that he and Georgie Benton were telling him, oh, box, be like Muhammad Ali, dance around the ring. When they played the ring mics, Freezy, they were telling him you were down.
Right.
Every judge had him winning, 2 out of the 3 judges. No, 3 out of 3 had him winning going into the last round.
Right.
After the knockdown, 2 out of 3 still had him winning.
Still had him winning. Yep. Still had him ahead on the scorecards. Yep.
You know, he lied. And
of course he did.
And this is what I'm saying. You've been with this fighter for at least 10 years of his life.
Coming out of the Olympics, yes.
Even before the Olympics, they knew about him, right?
Yeah.
You've been with him this long. Look at Meldrick Taylor today. Meldrick Taylor is a. It's not even an ounce of the man that he was
before that fight
5 years ago.
Right.
Chavez beat his prime out of him.
Yep. That's why. So here's the thing.
23.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Because Meldrick Taylor was supposed to be the next guy. Right. So
Leonard.
Yes. The three things. Right. That I said 3 things to put up 4 fingers. But anyway, the 3 things that with that fighter, for one, they took the Chavez fight too early. They went after the money they shouldn't have. Right. That
was the Duvas.
Right.
That was trademark Duvas. If you look at Purnell's first title shot was in Rome, Italy, against God, his name is skipping me right now, but a Mexican fighter. He only had 15 fights.
Right.
He got robbed. Right. It was a draw, but he only had 15 fights.
Right. And here's the other thing about Meldrick Taylor. You have to have people that'll be honest with you. When Meldrick Taylor was up, here's the thing. When Meldrick Taylor got that humongous lead, because I think Meldrick Taylor was up like at round 7. At round 7, 5-2. I think. Yeah. No. I'm saying going into round 7. I think it was like 4-2. 4-2, right? Going into round 7,
which is a big lead.
That's huge.
That's 2 rounds, especially if you haven't been knocked down.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So he goes into round 7 and wins. You're up 3 rounds, right? You're up 3 rounds. What I have always been taught is when you have a 3-round lead, let the fight come to you. Right?
He never did that.
He
never did that.
His corner didn't teach him to do that.
They never did that.
If he would have let the fight come to him,
it was pedal to the metal. And a fighter like Chavez, right? And maybe one, you know what? Since we're here now, and we've pretty much forego the rules because we do what we do and we do how we do it. Shout out to the fans. Shout out to the base.
Sorry,
but y'all know how we do. We roll into it. You know, Cesar Chavez is the kind of person fighting in the ring or out the ring you wish to never meet up.
Right.
Because that early, man, you needed like a 2x4.
Yep.
Or some kind of pipe, you know, to bust him, not even in the front, not even here, to bust him back here.
Yeah, but you wasn't going to beat him.
Because I saw Roger Mayweather, because they fought twice. First fight, he knocks Roger out in the second round.
Yeah.
Second fight, Roger is winning the fight. Somewhere around the 10th round.
Roger, he winning. Yeah.
If you knew, shout out and rest in peace to Roger Mayweather, who was the Black Mamba.
Yeah.
2-time world champion, Roger Mayweather. Roger Mayweather drops, and Roger Mayweather's famous for that straight right hand. Roger drops a right hand on him somewhere right around here.
Right.
He doesn't flinch. Roger backs up and was like, God damn, you take a motherfucking punch.
Yeah.
It took everything out of Roger because Roger didn't have the greatest chin.
Yeah.
And once you could take his right hand, he was like a junior lightweight Hearns with a right hand. Right. Once you could withstand his right hand, which was pretty much hard to withstand because Roger Mayweather's right hand, for those, if people remember, devastating at that weight class back
Right.
then in the 80s.
Right.
He took that right hand, he ate it. It was like kibbles and bits. Give me another.
Yeah, like what was that?
Yeah, what was
Nothing.
that?
Nothing.
Ate it. It took everything out of Roger. Roger was done with only two rounds to go.
Yep.
He was done. And
Yep.
Chavez put him out of his misery.
Yep. But the thing I was gonna say about Meldrick Taylor though is the two things. For one, he got in there too early. He didn't have enough in ring seasoning, right? And you could tell because of the shots he was getting hit with later on.
Well, he beat Buddy McGirt.
Shout out to Jersey City's own Buddy McGirt.
Once he beat Buddy McGirt, they thought that.
But still, you still don't run Buddy McGirt. Buddy,
Good fighter.
Very
good fighter.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying.
Right. But here's the thing about the third thing I want to mention. At about round 10, where you saw Meldrick Taylor not being able to avoid these shots, you got to throw in a towel right then. Because it's better to leave that fight with a loss and can come back and fight another day than to have your career destroyed. Now, if it were me, now there were some shots that Chavez didn't even disguise the shots, right? He just threw them and they landed. And so once you saw that, you got to throw in a towel, bro.
Here's the thing, Freezy. Two things. The first, to your first point. Fighters die in the ring, Freezy.
That's my point.
You know, it's ugly. It's the ugliest truth about boxing. You understand?
Right.
And if they would have took the fight from him, because even at that point, he's leading.
Okay.
He's probably comfortably leading. You understand?
Right.
Nobody on his camp, nobody in the arena, nobody watching is thinking you're going to save the fighter from himself to fight another day, which is what you're saying.
That's why you have to have boxing people around you.
It don't work like that. They've got he had the creme de la creme as far as
the time,
as far as in boxing.
Yeah, at the time the dude was because
whether then or now, okay. And it's God damn it! I saw Dooku Kim die.
Yeah.
Right. And I felt about it then, like I feel about it now. He died doing what he would have done. It don't matter the day, it don't matter the time, don't matter the rhyme or the reason. That man was a fighter, was a warrior.
What's the last thing the referee tell you when you get ready, when he tell you to go to your corner at the beginning of the fight? The last thing the referee tell you is protect yourself at all times.
Protect yourself at all times, then touch gloves.
Yeah. I didn't even like the touching gloves thing. I think it was stupid. That's like a sportsmanship thing. How you want to be a good sport about trying to beat somebody up? But anyway.
Well, over the years, here's my thought on that. If the referee can't get you to obey that simple command of touching gloves when you're not even punched somebody in the face yet, how is he gonna hold command of the fight the rest of the way?
I understand that, but in the pre-fight instructions, the referee come in and introduce himself like into your whole camp.
Right.
The referee will be like, "Hey man, I'm Joe Smith, man. I'm gonna be refereeing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be refereeing y'all fight." And everybody in the room, they be like, "Yeah, man, I'm the cut man. You know, I'm the trainer. I'm the such and such. You know what I'm saying? You know, blah blah blah." blah. Usually, you only have two dudes. These bougie dudes now have like 3 dudes. 4 dudes in their corner, and there's too many voices. It's too many voices in your corner, right? There's too many people asking you, talking to you, whatever. But the referee says then, like, "Yo, hey man, listen, have a good fight, but remember to obey my instructions at all times." That's what he tell you in the locker room. And then when he come back into the ring, he said again, hey, obey my instructions at all time. Protect yourself at all times.
Right.
Yo, when you watch the Meldrick Taylor fight, Meldrick Taylor was unable to protect himself.
Yes.
Right? Meldrick Taylor, some of those shots he got hit with, he couldn't see him coming, and he wasn't able to protect himself. And if I'm Richard Steele, I'm like, yeah, hey man, your guy at about the 9th or 10th round, I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna go to the corner. Your guy, he out here, he ain't got his hand. Y'all better do something, or I'm gonna call it. And nowadays, referees, if that fight happened in 2022, they'd have stopped that fight in the 10th round.
Yeah, because you see, here's the beauty and the ugliness with sports. And I hope and pray that we get back to the good, the bad, and the ugly segments, because I love that.
Yeah.
But you remember that Jim McKay entry into the wild world of sports?
Right.
Spanning the globe. Dun, 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 dun. And he would his voice would rise and fall as he's going through or whatever, because that's sports, Freezy.
Right.
You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some, and the presenter of the sport is going to capitalize on the pulling of your heartstrings, right? We Nick, well, you Nick fan, right?
Yeah.
You know about the pulling of your heartstring, of toying with your emotions.
Yep.
That's what sports does, you see?
Right.
And it's only the people that brings you the presentation who are probably totally objective.
Right.
Because they don't have a winning side one way or the other. All they doing is bringing you what you want and counting the paper after it's over.
Right. I understand.
So, what you gonna do with that? It is what it is.
What we'll probably do with Meldrick Taylor, with not Leon Spinks, who Marvis Frazier and Mike Tyson.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
Marvis Frazier.
Marvis Frazier, would you have put Marvis Frazier in the ring with Mike Tyson?
He's one of those things. He's one of those legacies that, unfortunately, that was his Waterloo. That was his destiny. His father is smoking Jeffrey.
Right.
Back then, you followed the footsteps of your father, or you perished.
How many fights did he have before that Tyson fight, though? What, 18?
I think Marvis was undefeated. He might have been like 18 and 19, maybe even more than Tyson, because he was a pro before Tyson. Right.
But the thing is, though, but fighting for the heavyweight championship without 30 fights.
It wasn't even the heavyweight championship. Here was Marvis' problem. His last name.
Well, yeah.
It's Frazier. We come up in a time back then, Freezy. I don't think I've ever mentioned this. Boxing is my first love.
I think I might be in that category too.
Boxing, and it's my first love because my father's first love, he liked boxing.
Yep.
That generation, Muhammad Ali is their hero.
Yep.
You understand? So my birth date is after March 8th, 1971. You would have thought I was around because I grew up those early years. His friends, they talked and argued about Ali Frazier won for years.
For years, bro. For years.
Yes. So it's like what they say in psychology, how you're not there, but you're there, kind of, sort of. I can't remember the term. I learned this years ago, whatever I came. Floyd bullshit, whatever.
Yeah.
And all them people. But it kind of holds true. I wasn't there, but I was there because they talked about it so much.
Right.
Like one of my dad's best friends his nickname, Joe Frazier.
Get out of here.
Dead ass. One of his mans back in the early 70s, 80s, and whatever. Joe Frazier. Rest in peace.
That's crazy.
Brooklyn's Joe Frazier.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this real quick before we wrap up and get out of here. Knicks fans, I promise you we're gonna talk Knicks next week, man. We gotta talk Knicks next week.
Dude,
but
hold on, Freezy. We gotta be correct with the people. And this is the one thing that I like to do, and hopefully you like it too. I sound like Monty Hall. Let's make a deal. The start of the season, the first 2 games, we have to get your thoughts. The people want to know what you thought of the first 2 games of the season so far. Cause we gotta come current.
Okay. Let me say this just real quick. Just real quick. So I used to be a club fighter, right? And y'all know what club fighters are. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have the best record. You just have to be entertaining. Right?
Are you not entertained?
Yes. People don't come out to see a record. They come out to get entertained. You know what I'm saying?
Gladiator.
Yeah. So as a club fighter, I wasn't the most powerful guy. I was the let me say it in a way that kind of makes that. So for the ladies, I was the good looking guy, right? For the old timers, I was the kid with all the heart. You know what I'm saying? The old timers, they loved to see me fight because first of all, they knew we was going to go 6 rounds. I wasn't going to get knocked out because my greatest superpower as a fighter was not these, but this. So dudes could load up. I could get hit.
Or you could take a shot.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I stayed in the game. If I couldn't take a shot, bro, I wouldn't be a boxer.
I want to understand. I think I led to this maybe, when we first started back then. But what is it that made you think, or you were feeling? Because we joked about this. Why you wanted to have a comeback at this stage? You wanted to
right now.
Well, right now. This was last year because last year you were actively
I was doing push-ups and all that stuff.
Doing push-ups. You were doing what
Jump
you
and
do
rope.
to get yourself together. And I think
I saw Shannon Briggs punk ass. I saw Shannon Briggs in the interview.
So it was Shannon Briggs that made you feel like you was ready to get back into.
I feel like without training, I would whoop Shannon Briggs' ass right now. Without training.
It's gonna be the battle of the graybeards.
Yes.
I saw Shannon the other day. Yo, for real. Shannon let our generation look bad. Shannon entire top to bottom is gray. I'm like, Shannon, why do you look like you're 75 years old? You're not. You're nowhere near 75 years old.
Is it? Yes. Shannon Briggs is probably around you know what I'm saying, around 53, 54, something like that.
Yeah,
I think.
And it's no shade on our bigger brothers and bigger sisters. You see what I'm saying? Because without them, we wouldn't have learned to grow as graceful as we are as we're getting there. But damn.
Right. Bro. And look, and it wasn't even yo. And AD, and the thing with me, and the thing that it frustrated me with Shannon Briggs is it wasn't even him off the hands. It was how he was talking about Deontay Wilder. Right?
What, you want me to say it? Deontay Wilder is, and I watched his last fight the other day. Here's my thing with Deontay Wilder, and I think I like his post interview and post conference with him and the gentleman that he dropped that right hand on. Right? They had a real soft, because that was his man. He beat up like his little brother.
Right. Yeah, that was his sparring partner. His
sparring partner. Wilder
He looked out for him.
He looked out for him. Fighting him is like we talked about Ali earlier, is a major paycheck for him.
Right.
See what I'm saying? They embraced and talked, and because Wilder didn't want to hurt him.
Right.
And it was clear in the post-fight,
Right.
together in the room and so forth. Like he literally broke down,
Right.
not wanting to hurt him or boxers in general. But it's a mean sport.
It's a mean sport, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Sugar Ray Robinson laid somebody out to their grave. Emil Griffith laid somebody out to their grave. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Dooku Kim, like I said, I saw him on his way to his transition period.
Right.
So that's boxing for you. It's not pretty. It's ugly. It's
Right.
gruesome. And in the same time,
and people cheat too. People cheat a lot.
But in the same time, beautiful as well.
Right. It's the because the thing about boxing is boxing, in my mind, the two games that are the most similar are boxing and chess. And you would think they'd be totally different, but they are not totally different, because in chess you show a lot of different things, but your ulterior motive is to do a certain thing, right? The same thing with boxing. You show a bunch of stuff that you're not even going to use, right? That you're not even going to use because you have an ulterior motive, and that's to get that certain person off the board, right? And so when I was saying about boxing, man, is dudes used to call me like a soft boxer, like a smooth boxer, kind of like in that thing like they used to say about Sugar. Sugar Ray ain't tough. Sugar Ray ain't got no power. You know what I'm saying? All these different things. But then you look at his record, like, how does he keep on winning?
Made up because of who he aligned himself with.
I understand that.
I do from Palmer Court, Maryland.
Right.
Father at 17.
Right. I understand.
If he ain't tough, let's remove the word tough out the dictionary.
Right. It's like people said Michael Jackson ain't tough. Michael Jackson is from Gary, Indiana. Yeah, come on, man. Shout out to the GI soldiers. You got to be tough to be from Gary, Indiana. So anyway, my point was I could get a lot of dudes to fight. You know what I'm saying? For man, like this is like 1990. This is like 1992. Man, I'm broke. I don't know what I'm trying to figure out some stuff. And the dude is like, just go down to what's the name and fight down at the thing, because I had gave up boxing. Right. So 1992, the dude was like, just go down to the what's the name, man. They need somebody to fight, you know what I'm saying, in the super heavies. They got the same dudes. Ain't nobody going down there and see them dudes no more.
Right.
And so it's like 7 to 8 dudes. They in a circle. They keep fighting each other. It's not entertaining. It's like a whole bunch of 30-year-old dudes out of shape. They like, yo, they're gonna have a tournament. Just jump in a tournament, man, and you see what it is. And so I'm the new guy.
Right.
All the ladies is there, and this is the bald head era. So I going in. I got a bald head. You know what I'm saying?
Isaac Hayes style.
Yeah, Isaac Hayes style, bro. Onyx.
For the look of love.
Yeah.
Shout out to Isaac Hayes. Black Moses, that album. Oh my God. When I used to, on a day like today, and I haven't done it in a minute, freezing, not to cut you, but Isaac Hayes would be on steady rotation on a Sunday.
Yeah.
What? The instrumentals on, Pimp Song. What?
Yes.
Shout out to the great, rest in peace, Isaac Hayes.
Yeah, man.
Because
there are a lot of greats. There are a lot of greats in our culture.
I don't know if you had touched on this on vibes and things, and for those of you who are fans of the channel and so forth, please check out, Vibes and Things and all of the other endeavors under the Blorange Tears network. Vibes and Things is one of the one of the things where Uncle Freezy goes into other things besides sports and so forth, and you know he may say some blasphemous shit, you know, that,
like me and Shannon Briggs, Shannon Briggs.
No,
I'm talking about
Prince
like
better
that,
than
bro.
Michael Jackson or something like that. Because he's been known to say shit like that. So
yeah, man. But yeah, man. Ultimately, bro. Ultimately, 92. I go back into the thing.
Okay.
I win the tournament because I'm like, so I think you were going to ask me a question just real quick before we get off. You're going to ask me. I think you were leading to a question like, how did I know that I had a chin? Well, I didn't. Well, I did not know I had a chin. But I got hit with a shot, and I could hear the crowd go, "Oh!" Right? And I was just there, I was like, "Shit, what?" I was like, "What?" Because nobody tests their chin. Like you don't go into the gym like, "Yo, hit me as hard as you can, see if I can take it." Don't nobody do that, right?
Right.
I remember this dude. He was about 45 years old. AD. He was about 5'10", about 275.
Okay.
Right. Construction worker dude. You know what I'm saying? He a club fighter like me. At that time, I was probably about 225. And he does a combination that he worked on in the gym, but I didn't know that.
Now, paint the scene now. Why are you fighting at this time?
Because I was broke.
Okay.
Because I was broke. I needed money.
Okay.
Right. I was broke. I needed money. Right. And the thing about it is, so I had a car that had a heater coil out. I'll never forget. I was driving. I think it was like a 1980. I think it was like a 1987 Pontiac Grand Am, and the heater coil was out. So every time, was
a nice car back then in the mid 80s. Yeah, Grand Am.
Yeah. So the heater coil was out. So I would put water in the radiator, but by the time I drive, the heater coil would leak over on the passenger side. So the floorboard on the passenger side would be wet with water and it'd be stank. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't get no chicks in there because your car stank. Your car smell like open radiator. Right.
Smell like coolant.
Right. Yeah. Smelling. And you know how you back in the day you used to put pepper in a radiator to stop your radiator from leaking. So anyway.
Damn.
So
you took it back crazy.
Yeah, I can't help it, bro. This is real life, bro. This is real life. I'm not. That's what I'm trying to tell people. I'm not perfect, bro. I'm not generated in a lab.
Yo, what's that brown shit coming out the bottom of your car?
Yes. Ew, it's stinking here. You know what I'm saying?
It went from green to brown.
Yes.
In a span of like 10 seconds. Yeah.
Yes, because of the heat. Because I had already taken the thermostat out. But anyway. So I'm fighting this dude, and so it's not a winner takes all. It's the top four guys. I think the it was like $2,000, which in 1992 that's a lot of money. So everybody is getting in, like trying to get into this thing. Okay. So the grand prize of that is $800, right? The winner get $800, the loser get $400, third place, fourth place, they all split up, whatever's left.
Okay.
No lie, this dude, and I think it's this dude named Jenkins or something, like Sonny Jenkins or something.
Okay.
This dude, he like 45 years old. He coming in talk about how he got to pay child support, right? You know what I'm saying? He like, I gotta beat them over here.
So he on a mission.
He like, I gotta beat that soft over there because I gotta pay this child support. This is pre-fight. We just walking around. He pointing like, I gotta beat them over there. I gotta pay the child support. The man gonna come get me tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So we get in and I'm just jabbing him up. He not even, clearly everybody know that he is outclassed. First of all, I'm in shape because this is right after the military, Uncle Freezy.
You are not your everyday Christopher Williams pretty mother looking Freezy.
Yeah. During that era where people thought if you was light skinned, you was soft. Yeah. So I'm outclassing this dude, and so I'm so far ahead in the second round this corner like, yo, man, come on, man. They corner telling him to quit because
Mhm.
I'm not throwing power punches intentionally because I don't want to hurt him. Because boxing is a fraternity, right? You don't want to
Absolutely.
hurt. You don't want to hurt your guys, right?
No, no.
So I'm intentionally not throwing shots that's wide open, and his corner see it. They're
Mhm.
like, yo, man, and he's like, yo, I'm about to throw it. He's like, no. So he come back out, AD, no lie.
Mm.
He does this movie like he fakes a hook, but throws an uppercut. So with me, I chicken wing, right? I chicken wing here to block a hook, and he comes straight up the middle of the street, right? Hit me, everyone like, oh, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, I lean back on the rope or whatever, and he trying to finish me off, and then he running out of gas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He running out of gas. I'm like, and so I turn him and I put him on the rope, and his corner, like, and his girl is like, don't hurt him, don't hurt him. All this stuff you hearing from the outside, right? So I'm just digging to the body. I'm like, man, just go down, man. What the hell wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? And he's like, nah, man. And so head butts me, right? Boom, that hit me dead on the nose, right? I'm tearing up. And then he hit me with the same combination. And the crowd is like, oh! And I'm like, wait a minute. I took this dude's best shot, a headbutt, and his best shot again.
Now got twos.
Yeah. And so now I'm realizing that this dude can't hurt me. Right? No matter what he got, he can't hurt me. So anyway,
tomorrow, Rock.
Yeah, that's how I discover that I kind of have a chin. So yeah.
Well,
So
before we get out of here, Freezy, let's span the globe real quick. All right. Let's roll into current Knicks thoughts. First two games. Give me some. What?
It's too early to tell.
Of course, but
and so the reason why I say that is because Tom Thibodeau expanded his rotations.
Okay.
Right. You see Emmanuel Quickly picking up a bigger role. Clearly, Emmanuel Quickly is the second string point guard, not Derrick Rose.
Is that a good thing?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's too early to tell because you had one bad game and you had one good game, and you can't really be just and saying one or the other. You know, you saw Cam Reddish have one great scoring game and one not so great scoring game. You saw RJ Barrett have one bad shooting game and then a decent game. Yeah, you saw Julius Randle be bubble Julius, but you don't know how long that's going to last. So what I'm going to say is I think the Knicks are going to try to win 50 games. And I've seen the rest of the teams around the league, and I think teams are struggling.
I think teams are struggling, but I think Cream is going to rise to the top. I'm going to pick up right where you left off because I wanted to quickly mention I was watching Memphis against Dallas.
Yep, me too.
And Luka, Luka's playing like a man amongst boys.
Luka looked like that man.
Luka looked like my only thing for Luka, and I know, that he's probably against this is that, and he's worked at this, but Luka, you still have to get yourself in better condition.
Yeah.
You're not there yet. And that's what's going to hold you back.
He looked like Sonny Jenkins.
That's what's going to hold you back from hoisting that championship. You have to get yourself, your body in a certain level to where, not today, because today, yesterday, whatever, you'll get away with that now.
Right. In October.
It's the reason why the top tier players spend so much money on their conditioning. It's for May, June.
Yeah.
So as far as, the Knicks, I think they found something in Hartenstein. iHeart, as everybody's calling him.
Yep.
He's going to push Mitch.
Yep.
Because in the two games that I've seen him in, the first game, you could run offense through him.
Yeah.
He showed that.
Yeah.
In the high post. Something that Mitch could never do. But I saw something in game 2 out of Mitch that I've never seen. He actually took a shot that wasn't a dunk.
Yes.
And I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked and happy all at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was happy of what I heard the quote that they attributed to him as far as him getting that big deal and him really wanting to show Knicks fans and the Knicks that he's not going to rest on this deal and he was going to go out there and earn the money and try and get better.
Right.
So for Knicks fans, that's a good step.
That's a good step
for him. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, we always want to stay a little current and so forth and discuss, the New York Knicks and so
Shannon
forth.
Briggs.
You and Shannon Briggs, you're what? 6'5"? Shannon is what? 6'5"?
Me and him about the same size. Same size, same age. Yep, all of that.
Same size, same weight.
Yep.
If you were gonna tell me, AD, it's happening, you got a couple of coins to put down. I'm ready or not ready. Where should I put my money?
Well, I would say he's probably been around the gym more frequently than I have.
Okay.
So he won't have as much ring rust as I'll have.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But if you give me some time to train, right? Like if it's like about 8 months or so out, like if we gonna fight like next summer, if he gonna fight next summer, I'm gonna call it even.
You're gonna even see.
Yes.
My next question is, why would you want to subject your body to that kind of torture at this stage of Uncle Freezyism or Uncle Freezydom?
Well, let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
Do you want me to answer that, or do you want Meldrick Taylor to answer that for me, or Dooku Kim to answer that for you?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because
you never fail to surprise me on where you will go to articulate your point.
Yeah.
You my brother, right?
Right.
Straight up and down.
For real. Before
I see you like Mildred Taylor, me and you would scarf.
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing.
No,
here's the thing. You are reasonable. You are reasonable.
I
right?
would hope so.
Right?
So.
But in order to break through barriers, you have to be unreasonable.
Hold on. Let's sidetrack for a hot second because I'm glad you said that. Right? For those who are students of history and students of politics and geopolitics or whatever, take a look at the speech by Patrice Lumumba as that part of the African continent was gaining whatever they thought was liberation. Right?
Right.
When you don't have certain things in place and you want to step out, and mind you, this is not me taking no shots at that man and that great leadership and all whatever. You got to be careful on how you step out there in the world and who's got your back and who don't. You understand? And when you choose to talk truth to power.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Everything is a strategy.
I understand.
See what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say, well, are we going there? I would never see you in that route, Freezy.
I know you say that now until we get the $200,000 pre-check bonus that we split in half, 50-50. And then after the fight, we get the $550,000 that we split down the middle 50-50. You'd be like, hey man, you up for a rematch?
It ain't never gonna be 50-50 in my eyes. You know why? You took the punches.
Nah, man, come on, bro.
It ain't never. And I'm glad you mentioned that. You ever seen there was an old movie with what's my guy? Oh, Charles Bronson. Where It's him and another one. This gentleman who was in the Magnificent Seven. But anyway, the dude is a great movie. Not, and I'm not talking about the Denzel version. I'm talking about the original, right? Which
right.
The Denzel was good too. Whatever. But anyway, the dude was the fight manager. Charles Bronson, as you know from Death Wish 1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah.
He's the street brawler, right? So it's a street brawl type of thing. The manager is it's a half-rate manager. They don't really respect him in the game, but he lucked into Charles Bronson.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But in the beginning, Bronson kind of needed him more than he needed Bronson because he don't know the game. But by the end, it's in vice versa.
Right.
But at the very end, here's the thing. The manager never takes a punch.
Right.
He never gets his nose broken.
Right.
See what I'm saying? He never does any road work.
Right.
You see?
He never gets his diet constrict. The way you eat, bro. The way you eat as a fighter, the way you eat as a human. The way you eat as a ham sandwich, as a ham and egg, and the way you eat as a boxer, bro. Yo, like leading up to a tournament, everything you eat has to be protein or green. No fries, no hash browns, no bread, none of that, bro. It's either leafy green vegetables, or some type of protein, chicken breast or steak.
Okay. So you
right.
So again to our point, it's like you have to know like where you going with this.
Right.
Boxing is not an easy game.
Right. But that's why you get AD to help. That's why when the money comes, you got to split it 50-50. So the boxer can worry about taking punches and whoever else that's in charge of taking care of everything else takes care of everything else. You got to, bro, because
I never understood that because I would never sign up for that.
But my point is okay. So for instance, when after I spar and you cut and somebody has to be there to take these gloves off my hands because you can't take your own gloves off, right? Then somebody has to cut your tape off. Somebody got to cut your tape off, right? Somebody got to have an ice bath ready for your hands, right? I got to put these things in an ice bath, okay? Right. After that, when it comes time for me to take a shower, I can't. If you're at a high level boxing affair, and it's a war, you not showering yourself, bro. Somebody is there showering, cleaning you up, right? Somebody is getting your post-fight treatment there. Like you gotta like you carb load before the fight, right? You carb load before, so you'll have energy to go into 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rounds, right? After the fight, you got to replenish all the energy that you expended because it's like running a marathon, right? You got to have all these things in place. The boxer can't do all these things on his own. A lot of boxers are not even smart enough to have these things in place, right? But anyway, let's get out of here to watch some football, bro.
Yeah. Wow, Freezy. Are we there already? Yes, we are.
Yeah,
Freezy,
man.
how's the fantasy team looking?
I'm in one league and I'm 5-1 in that league.
I'm in 2 leagues and I'm ashamed to say how I'm doing in one and I'm okay in the other. So that's what it is. But again, Freezy, the season is still young. We haven't gotten to the halfway mark yet. So, things can change.
Things can change, bro.
But everybody, once again, thank you again. This journey, it starts where it starts. It ends up where it ends up. I can't believe we've already hit 2 hours already, Uncle Freezy.
Yeah.
But thank you again for joining us once again on, can we still call this old school Knicks?
Yeah. We gotta call the thing is it's old school Knicks, and then it's old school, and then it's Knicks. So today we leaned on the old school part.
Today we leaned on the old school. And for those who are boxing fans or non-boxing fans or whatever, hopefully you enjoyed the conversation and so forth.
Yeah,
Freezy, we're gonna leave you right there. Look for me in the whirlwind, Uncle Freezy. It's a pleasure as
Yeah.
always. The time goes by much too fast.
Much too fast, bro.
We'll see you next week. Stay
Peace, y'all.
tuned. Look for me in the whirlwind.
Yeah, peace, y'all. Wow, I cannot.